Time to call the May 27th regular workshop meeting of the School Board of St. Lucie County to order. Welcome to all of you here tonight. We have a new face on the dais with us tonight. We'd like to welcome Dr. Mark Rendell. Our superintendent, Mrs. Yost, is speaking at the baccalaureate commencement tonight at the college. So welcome, Dr. Rendell. It's nice to have you up here with us. And welcome to all of you. We appreciate you being here. We have more accolades to bestow tonight, which is always a good thing. So if you would stand with me now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. And now the Kids at Hope pledge. As an adult and a treasure hunter, I am committed to search for all the talents, skills, and intelligence that exist in all children and youth. I believe that all children are capable of success, no exceptions. Thank you. I will open the public hearing at this time. Tonight we have before us the proposed adoption of amendments to the Code of Student Conduct and School Board Policy 3.53, which is a new policy relating to intellectual properties. Are there any among tonight that wish to speak to either of these policy changes or additions? Okay, seeing none come forward, Dr. Rendell will receive the recommendation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I recommend the Board approve the proposed amendments to the Code of Student Conduct and the new policy number 3.53 as presented.
Thank you. Board members, we have the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Mills, second by Mr. Ingersoll. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. This time I'd like to remind any of you that might wish to speak tonight as an unscheduled speaker. We have forms in the back of the room that you can fill out, and please get them up to Mrs. Harrison before the beginning of our business meeting. And at this point, we will move to our special orders of business. Dr. Rendell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have two special orders on the agenda. We're only going to complete one of those tonight. We will not have the STAR presentation tonight.
Okay.
But we will have the Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports Model Schools recognition. So I'd like to call Mr. Bill Tomlinson to the podium to present those awards.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, Deputy Superintendent Rendell, it is with great pleasure that I come before you tonight to announce that St. Lucie County Public Schools has 5 schools that will receive recognition as model PBIS schools for the school year 12-13. This award is always given a year later than the current school year. We're very pleased this year that we have this recognition given to our schools for their accomplishments in developing a multi-tiered system of supports during the previous school year. Each year, the University of South Florida's Positive Behavioral Support Project recognizes schools across the state that have made model school status by demonstrating innovative, creative, and functional ways of supporting PBIS in their respective schools. Specific characteristics of PBS model schools are their consistent methods of utilizing data to better serve the students and staff, teaching PBIS to new students throughout the school year, creative and engaging reward systems, extending PBIS throughout the campus and partnerships with the community and parents, and including PBIS into daily activities across all available teaching opportunities. PBIS model schools have made a commitment to both PBS and intervention supports in their schools, and it definitely shows in these recipients. Less than 140 schools across the state make model school status each year, and this year we have 5 schools in St. Lucie County recognized. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Robert O'Neill. Robert coordinates our PBIS project for the district. He not only coordinates this project, but has invested a great deal of time and effort in working with schools on their investment and continued vitalization efforts for PBIS. He's an integral component to our continued association with the University of South Florida and he works alongside Dr. Michelle White from the university to head the St. Lucie County leadership team. I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the work and the vast amount of work that Robert puts into this project each year. Robert will introduce the recipients for model school status at this time.
Good evening. By the way, I should add there's about 1,500 schools in Florida that participate in the PBIS project in Florida. So out of that, less than 10% become model schools. Okay. As I call your name, please come to the front of the boardroom so that you may accept the recognition you truly deserve and to pose for a photograph. We'll call each school individually, and we'll start with the 4 schools that achieved model school status at the bronze level. First call is for Palm Point. Deborah Snyder is the principal. Okamic, Carmen Peterson, principal, please. Our third school is Westgate K-8. Robert Cranmer, principal. Excuse me. Our fourth model school is Bayshore Elementary. Lori Reed, principal. This year, we are especially pleased to announce that Weatherby Elementary has achieved gold status. So out of those 1,500 schools, I know I speak for the district when we say that we are very proud of the accomplishments of the PBIS teams at each of these schools. You are to be praised for your accomplishments and the work you put forth every day on behalf of the children and families of St. Lucie County. Congratulations, please.
Okay, we will now move to our consent agenda. Board members, the agenda is before us. I want to hear a motion to accept it as presented. Moved by Mr. Ingersoll. Second by Ms. Hilson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. At this point, board members, are there any conflicts that you need to declare before we move for our recommendation? Okay, hearing none. Dr. Rendell will receive the recommendation.
Madam Chair, I recommend the board approve a total of 19 consent agenda items beginning with number 6.01 and ending in 14.01 as presented.
Thank you. We have received the recommendation. Board members, are there any items that you wish to pull for separate discussion or separate vote? Hearing none, are there any that you wish to pull for comment? I do wish to comment on number 14, which 14.01, which is the transportation bus routing and no transportation zones for 2014-15. Just for our viewing audience to be aware, there are no changes to any of the routes or the no pickup zones. So for those of you in our viewing audience, I just wanted you to be aware of that. Your routes will stay the same next year. Okay, we have received the recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Mills. Second by Mr. Ingersoll. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Rendell, at this point, we have other business before us.
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. I recommend the board approve the stipulated findings of fact, conclusions of law and penalty, and final orders number 385 through number 402 as presented.
Thank you. Board members, we have the recommendation. Moved by Ms. Hilson, second by Ms. Hensley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We move to the superintendent's update. Dr. Rendell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to share some good news. As most of you know, the state released some third grade reading and math scores last week, and more importantly, writing scores for grades 4, 8, and 10. Writing has been a focus for us this year, and the results are very positive. 29 out of our 37 traditional school buildings increased their writing proficiency scores. Overall, as a district, we improved 10 percentage points in proficiency. That's unheard of. Those are great gains. And by grade level, fourth grade had a 7% average increase, eighth grade a 9% average increase, and 10th grade a 12% average increase. What's more important is the state saw a decrease in fourth grade by 4 percentage points average proficiency. So we increased by 7% while the state went down 4%. In eighth grade, the state saw an increase of 2%. We went up 9%. And in 10th grade, probably the most impressive is the state did see an increase of 2%, but we went up 12%. This is a direct result of the hard work of the teachers and the students in our schools. I want to give some special recognition to the CIA department under the leadership of Carrie Patrick. We targeted some resources to the schools to improve in this area, and it seems to have worked out pretty well. So we'll probably take the same approach next year in some other areas. But I think our students and our teachers, especially in grades 4, 8, and 10, should be proud of those results in writing. As for reading and math, the state basically saw stagnant scores for for third grade, and we did as well. So not too much growth or slippage, but about the same as the state. So we eagerly await the rest of our scores to see how we've done this year, but the writing scores are things that we should definitely be proud of. That was a target for us this year, and it seems that the work of the teachers in the classroom and the students have paid off. Also want to take a minute to talk about some activities that are happening this summer. We have an Aeronautical Academy at Fort Pierce Central. It's a partnership with Embry-Riddle University. And 5 of our students are going to have a very special opportunity this summer to participate in a camp that is held in July. There's over 3,500 students apply to go to these various aeronautical camps. There's two, and they're both at Embry-Riddle. One of them is with NASA astronauts, and the other's with engineers and other aeronautical experts. Well, only 12 students are selected in one of the camps and only 12 in the other. We have 4 out of the 12 slots in the first camp and 1 out of the 12 slots in the second camp. So 5 out of the 24 slots statewide are going to our students, and they're coming from Fort Pierce Central. So I wanted to let Dr. Atkins, the professor there at Fort Pierce Central, have him get some recognition and go ahead and name the students that are participating in these camps. In the first camp, the aeronautical camp that has NASA astronauts, Bryce Starr, Christopher Swinford, Anthony Oreo, and Cody Nicholson from Fort Pierce Central are participating. And then in the second camp, Kaji Rashad will be participating, and he actually gets a full scholarship to the camp. So he'll be going free of charge and that kind of thing. But this is an opportunity that our students have that only a handful of other students have in the state, and it's because of the great program that we have there at Central that's supported by this partnership with Embry-Riddle. And that's about it.
Thank you, Dr. Rendell. There's good news on both counts. We'll move to board member reports, and Dr. Mills, we'll begin with you tonight.
Well, there's so many good things that's going on now, being that it is the end of the school year, and there is a lot of activities going on. Congratulations to all of our students who are graduating, beginning with our seniors throughout the district. The next few days, we will be, all of you who graduated will be walking across the stage and shaking our hands, and we just want you to know how very proud we are of your accomplishments. And this leads me to the performance-based senior awards ceremony that we just had this past week. It was very impressive, their ceremony, and they did a fantastic job over at Fort Pierce Central. And their valedictorian, I want to just mention that they had a valedictorian and a salutatorian. Their valedictorian was John Myrtle, and the salutatorian was Passion DeGatto. Congratulations to the both of you for working so hard. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Mills. Mr. Ingersoll?
Yes, ma'am. Just the same lines as Dr. Rendell. Thank you to everyone this year for a good school year, our teachers, our administrators, our support staff. It's been a phenomenal year, and the test scores are just a celebration of everyone's work, and we're very grateful and appreciative. Graduation is quickly approaching. Be careful going down Midway Road. Every year someone starts looking down, texting, cap and gown, and gets in an accident. Please be careful. Bring water. It's hot out. Just come and have a good time celebrating. We're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Mr. Ingersoll. Ms. Hensley?
Yes, ma'am. Graduation starts tomorrow night. Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, 3 on Saturday. Very exciting times. As you know, many years ago, we focused significantly on some after-school programming in St. Lucie County, and were able to put an after-school network together that became part of the bigger network in Florida as a model, which became part of a national after-school alliance. They had meetings in D.C. last week. Mike Lannon became the champion, they called Breakfast of Champions for the After-School Champion, at a breakfast in D.C. on the 22nd that was attended by senators and representatives as well as multiple members of the after-school network. So I think that speaks well of some things our community has been trying to do. Children's Services Council had our annual Champions of Children and Student Leaders recognition last week. Every year the kids are more and more impressive, and we try to make sure that we honor 2 people, adults, who work with children that go way beyond what their job description is. So we've been doing that for quite a few years. It was very nicely attended, and of course the food's always good, which brings people. We also last week had our Treasure Coast work group, the recap of the legislative session last Friday. with some significant updates. We received that in email form, and I think all of the board has received it, and it is a public record, so we'll be glad to share some of the things that we accomplished. And unfortunately, most of the things that were accomplished, it meant that there were some things that were squashed. Still waiting for the time when we actually get to go to Tallahassee and advocate instead of going up and try to keep things from happening. But all in all, it is the typical session of a election year. Thank you.
Ms. Hilson?
I'll piggyback on what Dr. Mills said, that I think performance-based at Central is just an amazing graduation. It's different than any other graduation that we attend because we know many of these students, this is their second or their final chance to be successful, and it's just so emotional to me to see, some of these children have had really rough beginnings, and it's a very special opportunity for them. And I just love performance-based, and the teachers that come, they do so much with these students, and I think the emotional tie makes all the difference with whether these students graduate or not. And just a thank you to all administrators, all teachers, everyone involved on every level for the test scores. I think what we've implemented with the writing, some of the training has paid off. We still don't know about reading except for the third grade in math, which of course the state lags behind, but I am so thankful every school, every single teacher, every single administrator that really, and every parent that made sure their child got to bed and had a good breakfast and got on the bus on time or brought them to school. But it truly speaks highly of our county and what we can do. Thank you.
Yes, and just a reminder that when next we meet again, this school year will be officially over. So to send our wishes to all of you to have a safe, restful, fun-filled summer. Thank you profusely for the jobs that you have all done, each and every one of you, throughout this school year. I often refer to it as moving targets throughout much of our days, but you all every day rise to the challenge, and we are profusely thankful to each of you for what you do for the students of St. Lucie County and for the betterment of our community as our community grows and moves forward. So accept our thanks, get some rest this summer. We'll be ready to meet and greet again in August and see all of our new students, our still 40,000 plus, some new faces, but a lot of returning faces who will be eager to greet you at the door as that day begins. So thank you again. And we have no other business to come before us, so we are adjourned.